Welcome to Carter's Retro Reviews. This week I actually have something a little bit different. I was playing Halo 4 on Xbox 360 with a friend of mine, Tim, and what I've done is I've taken the 2 or so hours of footage that we've captured and I've boiled it down to the best bits. So here they are. And that was the highlights there of Tim and I playing Halo 4 together. Thanks for watching. Yeah, the camera.
Can you tilt it a little bit so that... No, can you tilt it sideways? Or is it only...
No, up and down.
One way? Oh, really?
That's it, yeah.
That's lame.
So, and the only reason it's webcam. It's not designed to do spinning. You have it attached to your, to your thing. So when you Skype and you're like, "Hey man, what's going on?" No, just tell me.
That means you can tilt it down when you want to have it.
Yeah. You can tilt it down if you want, so you get to see my junk.
Yeah, that's it.
And you know what? The good thing about this is in this review, I'm not wearing pants. Tim's feeling awkward as fuck, but I'm feeling fine. A lot of air down there. This is where the video becomes less of a playthrough and more of a review that you've come to love. So, who has 2 thumbs and couldn't give a shit about this game? This guy. I could have made jokes like, "Look at that gun, it looks like a massive penis." I had to edit out what Tim and I were saying because it made me look like I'd never played a modern game ever, and that's not true. I played that new version of Pac-Man and that game was fucking amazing. And I know what you're thinking, Halo? I thought this was a retro reviews channel. It is, and this doesn't change anything. In fact, I will be reviewing more modern games down the track. Tim was around, and instead of going round robin in some sort of circle jerk, we decided to play this game, as this was one he was busting a nut to show me. Now, I realise when you watch this review that you should expect to see it in 1080p. In addition, you'll probably want to see some of the cutscenes, but not in this review. No. This might have made the overall experience better with high def and a big screen TV, which I do have, but in order to catch the game, I had to cut back due to technical limitations of my hardware. I've seen the pros record high def, but listen, I'm a fucking retro review channel. I typically don't play a single game that even has the letter P in the resolution. We played it for a few hours, and riding in the car while shooting was rad, but ultimately, I don't see the hype. It's just a first-person shooter that's not shit. I bet there's an in-depth story and what have you. I can appreciate a good story, but within 2 hours, I can get a good sense of a game by that stage. Even Assassin's Creed 3 2 hours in tells me that this is going to be a long game and will test my patience. Some will argue that you can't know you're going to love a game in 2 hours, especially if it's an open world or long play game. Sure, there can be twists in a story that changes everything else, but let me ask you this. Why would you continue to play a game if you're not enjoying it? And if the answer is yes, you will play it if you're not enjoying it, then you'll play anything. I was talking to Canada Brad again, and even though he loves being mentioned in my videos, he made a valid point. What happens if you're balls deep into a series? What happens if you've been playing right from the very start, you followed the story and you got into the story in a big way? What happens if that same series develops merchandising beyond the game I am playing? That would explain why there are people who love this game if it's any better than crap. As someone who is looking at this game and this game alone, it's an okay shooter and not a whole lot more. Even with the HDMI coupled with the big TV and surround sound. But you're still losing the bigger picture here because I enjoy older games that don't have the graphics nor the need to have a kick-ass surround sound setup, although, let's be honest, that would definitely make any game better. And I still enjoy those games. Perhaps this review would have been more heavily biased if I'd been around since the start. I'm not some 12-year-old kid, I'm much older, and when I saw the trailer and saw that this was a first-person shooter, I immediately dismissed it because I could not give a flying monkey shit for the genre. But here's another thought. You simply cannot dismiss a game if you do not like the genre. It's almost impossible to get an unbiased opinion. Those who love it have been in it from the start, and those who haven't been there from the start but love it have bought into it because of the hype. There are games, regardless of its genre, that are obviously excellent or shit games, but what happens if you feel that a game is a run-of-the-mill or just barely competent, so that the only word that describes it is good? Well, don't get excited, because it's not that. I've played excellent first-person shooters, and even though I'm not a fan of the genre, this has some of the ingredients.
Never know what might come in.
Would I recommend it? You know, it doesn't matter what I say. I mean, okay, granted, it's never really stopped me before, but buy it or not, I don't give a shit. I guess what I'm trying to say is, through all the glitz and glamour of this game, I couldn't give enough of a shit for the story, and the gameplay is simply a competent FPS.
There's that phantom.
But the reason why it's given far more kudos than it deserves is hype, too much commitment from gamers who've been in the series from the start, and outstanding graphics. For something that receives this much hype, it doesn't really do anything new or even vaguely interesting for those of us who wouldn't piss on the genre if it was on fire.
Sentinels.
I wondered when they'd show up. There, Chief. A console in the back.
As always, thank you very much for watching. Click on the TV to see the last review, and click on the name underneath the television if you'd like to subscribe.